I'm Mark Boucher, coming from a bit of a sporting background. I've always enjoyed going to the bush and enjoyed wildlife and animals. In 2012, I tried to connect the two with my network that I picked up over a few years and create something special in the conservation world as well. And that was the start of the Boucher Legacy. Through the cricket that I was playing, one of our major sponsors was always Castle Lager. And that's when I was introduced to Ally Hewitt, who's become one of the directors for the Boucher Legacy as well. And Ally's been fantastic in the work that he's done with our crew that work with us as well to get us to where we are now.
Hi, my name's Ally Hewitt. I am a passionate conservationist. I spent most of my life in the corporate world where I met Mark. So the Boucher Legacy was established in 2012. Our core objectives are to make a difference in conservation. We began our journey focused very much on rhino, and we all know that rhino poaching has been something that has plagued our country since 2009 when it really started deteriorating. But since then, Mark and I have realized that there's a lot going on in terms of endangered species as well, and we started to broaden our scope to pangolin and wild dog and other endangered species that are also getting taken out for human gain.
From the start, when we first founded the Boucher Legacy, we wanted to get involved in endangered species and see how we can make a bit of a difference. Rhino was on the tip of everyone's tongue at that particular stage, so it seemed like the right thing to get involved in trying to help people who are working with rhinos and seeing what a difference we could make straight away. But certainly we've gone past that now and looking at other endangered species as well and trying to make a difference there. So we're basically just rolling out the plan that was there from the start.
So initially when we began our journey, we were focused on protection of rhino, prosecution of perpetrators, poachers in particular, and education of the importance of our natural heritage and what rhino actually mean to us as a country. So we identified a meaningful program called RODIS, which was run by Dr. Cindy Harper at Honest to Quote. And initially what we did was we raised funds to buy a DNA machine for Cindy to put in her lab that allowed her to do 24 DNA samples for rhino a day. And by actually putting those rhino onto a DNA database, it allows law enforcement to be able to link a perpetrator of a poaching incident to a carcass, which then allows for them to be prosecuted. And a number of years, or a number of people have been put behind bars for many years, over 500 years worth of sentences so far since we began that program.
I think the nice thing about that as well is that in order for this machine to work properly, you've got to get the rhinos onto the database. So the fun part about the whole job, if you want to call it that, is going into the bush and actually taking corporates and doing rhino dartings and rhino tagging to get these animals onto the database. But the project that we started with Sandparks was something that is very interesting for me. Working out where animals. So you basically put a collar on an animal and you work out their movements throughout the year, where they go in different temperatures of the day, where they go at different times, different climates, and you can basically work out exactly where they're going to be. And the information that we picked up about rhinos and the movements that they have is something that we never knew before, and that for me is quite interesting. And that made me feel like we're actually doing something before the animal gets poached.
Yes, so Dr. Sam Ferreira was the leader of the project working with the Boucher Legacy. So we felt that was a meaningful project. We're now starting to look at technology that's not as intrusive as a collar to help rhino to be able to move freely through the bush. And that's sort of the next phase of what we're looking at, and hopefully also taking that technology to other endangered species, and then we can monitor those species in the bush and get some really good learnings from that. We probably want to become a much more active player in the conservation world going forward, and that means raising proper money to be able to dedicate to what we're doing. So our key focus would be to continue to support Dr. Cindy Harper and her DNA program at Honest to Quote, working with Sandparks in particular around breakthrough technology for tracking of endangered species as a core project, and that in conjunction with Kevin Peterson's team on the Legacy, obviously supporting Sandparks. Then to work with African Pangolin Working Group on rehabilitating pangolins and releasing them back into the wild again.
I think it's important to keep working with partners as well. I mean, without the partners that we've had, people that we met along the way that have helped the Boucher Legacy, we would really be nothing. And Ally's done some fantastic work. I know the guys from the conservation logger through Devil's Peak. That's been a feel-good project for a lot of people, and that's got a lot of exposure. And we've been very fortunate to have a lot of help. Guys like Kevin Peterson, Jacques Callis, A.B. de Villiers, Graham Smith, these guys who are legends in the game of cricket, and they've joined forces with us, and we've helped. Well, we've used their social network as well to expose everything that's happened, and for me that's quite important as well. The more people that know the problems out there with regards to conservation, the better it is for the animals in itself as well, because that's where your funding comes from, and creating awareness for me is massive, and I think that's where the Boucher Legacy has really done well.
Let's maybe just call out the veterans cricket team who went to Australia last year and raised a substantial contribution for us, and this upcoming year is the World Cup being hosted in South Africa, and they've identified us as their core beneficiary again, so we're really grateful to them. And then our new partnership with Cunard, which is the shipping line that looks after the Queen Mary, the Queen Elizabeth and the Queen Victoria liners that come into our harbour in Cape Town and in PE, and they've identified us as a partner, and we're really excited about that.
So you can donate, you can go onto our websites. We're quite big on social media as well. If you search about Boucher Legacy, and there are a few ways which you can help. For me, the big thing is about creating awareness as well. If we can keep talking about the problems that we have, I know it's not always a nice thing to talk about. It's uncomfortable for a lot of people, but if we keep creating awareness and not letting things just keep going by without trying to make a bit of an impact on it, then I think then we're going in the right direction.